The story of Daniel captured in Babylon. Daniel was a young Israelite taken captive when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon conquered Jerusalem. Along with his friends Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, Daniel was chosen to serve in the king's palace because he was intelligent, handsome, and full of wisdom. The Babylonians gave them new names. Daniel became Belteshazzar, Hananiah became Shadrach, Mishael became Meshach, Azariah became Abednego. When they were offered the king's rich food and wine, Daniel refused, choosing to eat only vegetables and water. After 10 days, he and his friends looked healthier than the others. Because of their faithfulness, God gave them great wisdom, and Daniel was even given the ability to interpret dreams. Daniel interprets the king's dream. One night, King Nebuchadnezzar had a terrifying dream and demanded his wise men tell him both the dream and its meaning. When they failed, the king ordered them all to be executed. But Daniel, trusting God, prayed and was given the interpretation. Daniel told the king that he had dreamed of a giant statue with a golden head, silver chest, bronze belly, iron legs, and feet of iron and clay. A great stone struck the statue and shattered it. Daniel explained that this represented a series of kingdoms, starting with Babylon. But in the end, God would establish an eternal kingdom. Amazed, Nebuchadnezzar made Daniel ruler over Babylon's wise men, the fiery furnace. Later, Nebuchadnezzar built a golden statue and commanded everyone to worship it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused, choosing to obey God instead. The furious king threw them into a blazing furnace, but God protected them. When the king looked, he saw 4 men walking inside the fire, and one looked like the Son of God. When they came out unharmed, Nebuchadnezzar praised their God as the one true God. The writing on the wall. Years later, during the reign of King Belshazzar, a mysterious hand appeared and wrote on the palace wall, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. The terrified king called for Daniel, who interpreted the writing. God had judged the kingdom, and it would soon fall. That very night, the Persians conquered Babylon, and Belshazzar was killed. Daniel in the lion's den. Under the new king, Darius the Mede, Daniel was promoted to a high position. But jealous officials tricked the king into signing a law that banned praying to anyone except the king. Daniel continued to pray to God 3 times a day. As punishment, Daniel was thrown into a den of hungry lions. But God sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths, and Daniel was unharmed. The next morning, the king rejoiced and had the schemers thrown into the den instead, where they were devoured. King Darius then issued a decree that everyone should worship Daniel's God. Daniel's visions. Later, Daniel had visions of 4 beasts symbolizing future kingdoms, and he also saw a vision of the end times, where God's eternal kingdom would triumph over all earthly empires. The legacy of Daniel. Daniel remained faithful to God throughout his life, serving multiple kings and receiving incredible prophecies about the future. His story teaches us about faith, courage, and the power of God to rescue and reveal the future.